Good morning. So since we started talking about nutrition like 2 days ago, I thought I'd give a recap of what I actually did while it's still fresh in my mind. And I'm sitting here still in my cute little bed and breakfast hotel room that's meant for couples. And they deliver breakfast in a basket. Like legit, this was sitting outside my door this morning. It was really cute. So I'm gonna eat my breakfast while I talk to you guys and recap what I did. So for starters, I was drinking water all freaking morning. I ate my usual sourdough toast with some peanut butter. I had planned to eat 2 of those sandwiches because I woke up so early. I was concerned that by the time I reached the race, I was going to be hungry again. But I ended up being just so, like, not nervous, but like that adrenaline pump. So I didn't want more food. I felt like that was good. So, of course, I had coffee. Gotta have coffee. And the whole way over, I was drinking water. So I think I had like a half liter of water. I was gonna finish the full liter leading up to the race because I had about, oh gosh, I think I got there at like 5:30. Race started at 6:45. So I had at least an hour before the race. So a half liter was actually pretty good. But I realized I had forgotten to fill my water bottle for my bike, so I ended up taking the rest of that water and just putting it on my bike. But anyways, so we started the swim. Normally what I would do in that situation is I would take like a gel or something before the swim so that I'm kind of topped off because you can't take anything during the swim. But I'd forgotten to bring anything, and I think it probably would have jacked up my stomach with all the butterflies and whatnot. Anyways, so the swim went fine. The second I got out of the swim, I immediately took a swig of something with sugar in it. So that was what was on my bike. Knowing what I know now about how the transitions work, I would probably leave a gel or a snack in my bike bag because you hit the women's or men's, the changing room first, and they hand you your bag. And while I was sitting there, I could have been taking something in. So that's something that I would do differently next time. And then once I got to my bike, immediately started on the water, immediately started on the fuel to get ahead of it, because the bike is when you can really get a lot in because you're not bouncing up and down, your stomach's gonna handle that stuff a lot easier. So my coach had given me an article regarding nutrition, and what this author had suggested is that you should during the bike ride be able to urinate twice because it's such a long day. You actually end up having to go to the bathroom during the race. So fortunately that did happen. So I was very well hydrated. I took water at every aid station, even if I wasn't done with my previous water, so that yes, drink water. It works. It seriously works. So that worked out well, although at a certain point I felt like I had gotten behind on my water because I missed the water at one of the aid stations and ended up with a Gatorade, which if you watched my last video, I don't particularly like Gatorade. It doesn't sit well with me, so I took sips of it and I skipped my bottle that I usually use for that leg, so I didn't overload my gut. It ended up working out okay. But then come the run, the bike was easy as far as nutrition goes. I stuck with what I had, except for that one mess up with grabbing water at one of the aid stations. Come the run though is where things kind of fell apart. So I had made a same water bottle and left it in my run bag. I bought a really cheap water bottle, not one of my good ones, just in case I ended up tossing it. And that was kind of a mistake because it was definitely cheap and it leaked everywhere. So I'm holding this water bottle that doesn't have very good grip on it, and it's sticky as hell. And I was just like, screw it. So I tossed it and I just relied on the aid stations. My stomach was pretty jacked up by that point. So what I ended up doing for the run, I did not take, hi, sorry. Oh my gosh, I missed soccer. So for the run, what I ended up doing was stopping at the aid stations, and I didn't take as much fuel as I should have. So the 60 to 90 grams of carbs that I should have been taking, I definitely didn't do that on the marathon. So what I did do was I really focused on water. I took Gatorade at almost every aid station, which was at least some carb, but not enough. I did salt, and I think at one point I did potato chips. But if I'm being completely honest, this is totally not ladylike. Like, by that point, my stomach was jacked up. I mean, if you look at my times, part of the reason my times were so slow for some of those legs was I was stopping at porta potties because I was seriously afraid that things were going to happen that were going to be disgusting. So, things to consider for something like that race. But other than that, it went pretty well. I was in some pain. I hit a wall at mile 20, which after talking with some one of my friends who's done it before, like that's actually very common on marathons. So I'm not sure I could have avoided it. But I also didn't feel loopy after the race, which normally if you've ever seen me after like a half marathon where I'm pounding it for an hour 53 minutes, like pounding it, I am like loopy after that race. Like you can't talk to me. I'm just so out of it. And after those kinds of races, I normally can't recall things from the race because I'm just that out of it, but I can recall so much from this race. So nutrition was really good. It was on point. I think the most important thing coming out of this experience is have enough understanding of nutrition going into a race like this that if you do need to improvise, then you're able to improvise. So what I would have really liked to know going in was I wish I could have remembered how many carbs are in like an ounce of Gatorade. I think a liter, I want to say like 8 ounces has like 22 carbs, but I could be wrong. I really should have gone and looked that up so that when I got my little cups of Gatorade, I knew about how many carbs I was getting. So that would have been nice. So I would recommend that, and understand the race course nutrition if you're going into a race like this, and try to have a good idea of what is being offered so that if you do end up having to ditch your stuff because it like some people, their stuff fell off their bikes, they didn't have it, or they messed up with their race bags, they didn't have what they needed, just be able to improvise. So that's it. I'm gonna keep eating my coffee and my pastries over here and enjoying this nice view, and then I'm gonna hobble my way around my hotel room and try to pack up. But race went great. Thanks for watching, guys.